Hello again. Welcome to our part 2 on decorating with plants. Thank you for coming back. I did my best to set up this video again for you guys to join me here on Facebook, and some people from Instagram are making their way over here, so I'm going to give them a couple of minutes to just be able to do that, and I'll let whoever else needs to take their time to join us for just a couple minutes before I get started. And this is going to be brief, it's not going to be too long, but it is hopefully going to be fun and inspiring for you to do all this really fun stuff with plants. So let me make sure my Instagram thing is working. We are going to see. It's so funny how for so long I have strived to be as unplugged as possible, and then suddenly this becomes a reality of our lives, being connected through the internet and social media. So I'm just grateful for it, and also realizing that there was a lot of judgment I had towards social media and technology that I did not need to have before. So just confessing. All right, so that might actually not be working at all. So I'm gonna just make my peace with having invited them to our Facebook group instead. And I'm just gonna get started with you guys. Whoever is already here, MJ, I see you're here. Diana, welcome guys, it's so good to see you. So I think you guys, all right, so some of you got to see the Decorating with Plants part 1 this morning, and also got to see me and Russell work together on planting some new seeds and talking a little bit about what kinds of plants are good for bringing inside the home, what kinds of plants are good for planting at this time of the year. We talked about soil, we talked about a lot of really cool stuff. And the reason I wanted to bring this up was for so many reasons actually, but one is this is a time where we're being called to be creative, right? We're being called to be creative in ways that we weren't maybe creative before. It's definitely an invitation to do things that motivate us to be more creative, that also create more space for us to be in touch with nature. We're being called to not touch each other as human beings. And what I was thinking about this today as I was making some design selections was also how grounding being around nature is, and how connecting with nature, connecting with plants, connecting with flowers, connecting with animals is also a different way for us to be to just bond, right? And to just have an energy exchange that isn't just the way we maybe knew, like shaking hands or hugging people or all of that, which is amazing. But obviously right now we're being called to have some of that separation, and I think that's really hard, especially for me. Like, that's really weird and hard, but anyways, just a thought, like plants really are also a part of nature in a way that they raise the vibration of our home and raise the vibration of our energy when we're around them. So just one more benefit of having plants. And then also the quality of air. I know people talk a lot about that. There's a lot of controversy about it. I might just have to do some more research to come up with my own conclusion with it. But in general, plants are amazing for keeping good quality of air. It's not going to be like, completely sterilizing your space or any of that stuff, but it is really good for just connecting again to more breath, more prana, more life. And Feng Shui, it is definitely about uplifting the energy of the home. So that's just kind of what I wanted to share. So what I'm going to share real quick is different ways in which you can decorate with your plants at home. Different tips, and some of it is just ways that I've done it because I've just done it for a long time. Some of it is also just, suggestions and ideas. And then other things are just basic design principles that I will also share with you. So I'm gonna just ramble around them, and I have no specific order, but I'm just gonna go through them as they come. So the first thing that comes up for me is how I love mixing faux and real plants, because I shared in part 1 earlier that I used to always only decorate with faux plants because I couldn't keep live plants alive. Now that I can, I still love to mix them up. 1 is less work, 2, they last longer, and sometimes they're just fun, sometimes they're also more cost effective, whatever the reason might be. I have tons of reasons that I could come up with, but the point is I do love mixing them up. I'm gonna read this. Audrey says, I read your first video, or I saw your first video. Aw, you're so sweet. She says, I never saw you smile and look at someone like that. Thank you, Audrey. That's such a sweet compliment. That's gonna make me cry. Thank you. We have to catch up, girl. Okay, so faux plants. As you can see, these are all faux, right? We have this, succulents, how I call them. You guys probably pronounce them different. That's my accent coming up. These are really, really beautiful, and they look really real. So to me, what's important when I buy faux plants is that they look really real as much as can be, that they feel really good, that they have sort of a heavy weight to it. You'll see cheap looking faux plants look very flimsy, and they're very thin. They look very plasticky. I mean, obviously if you get close to these, you'll see that they're not real, but if you look at the arrangement, they actually look really good. And then you actually pair them with, let me just see if I can get this out of the way. If you pair them with real flowers, it's almost like it sort of fools you, right? It sort of just gives you the impression that all the plants are real, where you only have some that are real, like this one, and then some that are faux. As you can see here in my little coffee table, I might have to move my camera around a bit. I have also these faux cute little bunnies because Easter's coming and it's spring equinox was last week, and I'm always decorating with the seasons, but these are also a really good way to add some greenery and some life to your space with faux greenery. Okay, the other thing, other than mixing them up, is containers. Being creative with your vases, being creative with where you put your plants. So like these, I actually use this singing bowl. This is a Tibetan singing bowl that my friend brought me from India, and I actually used to play it a lot during my classes, but one time I dropped it and it fell and it broke. So it doesn't play anymore. But I love it so much, I thought I would use it for this little arrangement. I'm gonna move around and show you guys a couple of other things about my plants. So let me actually get this and just show you as I go. 1, 2, yes, okay. So, you guys see me? Yes. Okay, so here I have this console table behind my sofa. So this little place I love because basically what I've done is exactly what I just shared. I mix faux plants with real plants. So the orchid here is real, and this cactus is also real, so is that one over there. This is my money plant, which I really love, especially because this is energetically part of my reputation area in my home and my prosperity area also. So I like keeping this plant. I actually moved that one quite a lot, which is part of what I do all the time. Is I love moving my plants around from one room to the other. I love moving them inside and out so that I can have change of scenery. Sometimes I want it to look like a jungle in here, and other times not as much. So that's that. The other part about using plants to decorate is the containers that they go in. I love mixing them up. So I have these sort of white, clean, modern vase for the orchid here. This one is a little bit more traditional, and it's just like a porcelain white pot. These are actually not real terracottas. As we mentioned before in the video earlier, terracottas really are meant to be for this specific type of plant actually, but these just happen to be faux. So they're plastic, but they look really, really good. These are another way in which I love to have plants. So these are air plants that I found on a walk nearby not too long ago. And they don't need any water, which is super, super cool. You can display them in so many ways. I've seen them even just hanging by a pretty thread, and you can do like levels of them hanging. But these particularly, I just have them on a crystal cup, just a regular cup. And then I like to pair them with different little items of decor. So again, this is my seasonal little bunny. And then I just keep my little watering can here handy and available for the small plants. Also, like I always say, when you have things that are functional, like a watering can, you want it to also look good and for it to be decorative and pretty. Okay, other plants. I'm gonna turn you guys around here. Let me see if I can do something. You guys be patient with me and my efforts to show you all that I have. I'm gonna try something else so I can have my hands free. Okay, so these plants over here are super pretty. I love them so much. Is that better? Yes. Give me your comments below as you look at my craziness moving this around so that I know that you guys actually can see what I'm showing you. Okay, so these over here I love because they fill the space, right? So when you think of decorating with plants, you want to think of them in terms of filling the energy of any void space in the room. So this corners are usually great for plants. Any spaces where you don't really quite know what to put in it, maybe a table is one table too much, or maybe the couch just doesn't quite fit on that corner, or you just simply want something that's clean and that gives your space life, a plant is amazing. The trick with decorating corners with plants is that, one, you want to bring a small plant up. So a lot of times people tend to buy smaller plants as opposed to buying bigger plants, and this just goes for a lot of different decorative items. Most people prefer to buy a bunch of little pieces of artwork as opposed to buying one big piece. My suggestion is, when you can, go larger in scale to make more of an impact and fill the space in a way that looks more professionally done. So with plants, it's the same thing. If you can find a big plant to fill a corner, great. That's ideally the best way to do it. But if you can't, then you want to play with layers. So as you see in that corner over there, and I'm gonna see if I can zoom it even more so that you can see what I'm talking about. You guys, this is such an adventure. I could have used maybe a bigger tripod or something that I could bring closer. But anyhow, here I love layering it. So I have one table to have the big one in, and then a small garden stool. And these garden stools I love because you can get them in any color. You can get them in a lot of different finishes. As a side note, I always love mixing my metals. I don't just go with silver or chrome or gold. I mix them all up. But here you can see how I'm layering them. So a taller piece and a shorter piece. And then I use all kinds of creative containers to have the plants in. So here we have just a general pot where this orchid actually came. Something cool about this particular one is that because the flower hasn't bloomed, I actually have kept it for many, many years. This orchid probably has about 8 years or something like that. And it hasn't bloomed again. Maybe Russell will help me get this one to bloom. But I mix it with faux pieces. So I have these two here that are faux, and then these leaves are all real. And so as you can see, you can't really tell that it's not a real plant. And then these I love because they grow like crazy. You cannot kill them. And again, getting creative with these vases and where you put them. Sometimes I use these for storing Epsom salts for my bathroom. Sometimes I use them for dried lavender. Sometimes I just use them by themselves. And then other times I use them like this to put these cute little plants on. The other thing about decorating with plants, I'm going to show you this other wall here, is, I'm going to go through the comments shortly. The other thing that I wanted to show you about plants here, I'm going to move this and bring you down to here. So you see how in this two, the ones that I have over there with the white basket and the wicker basket at the bottom, again, I did the same thing. I layered them so that one is higher than the other, creating more interest towards this wall. This is one of my favorite walls. It's like a focal wall of my home where I have a lot of really meaningful things, and the greenery just adds so much life. But my favorite trick about this is using the wicker baskets. As you can see, I love mix matching stuff. That's just part of my personal style. But you can certainly create a very minimalistic space by having all the baskets be the same and being either the same shape or the same color or just the same material in general. So these are really cool because you also don't need to repot them. You can just use the regular container it comes in, right? This black plastic pot. I don't know if this one needs to be repotted yet or not. But so far I think it's lasted pretty good. Again, you wanna use that information we shared with you earlier about repotting some plants. But these in particular I really like because I can just stick them in this basket and that's it. When I'm gonna water them, I just take it out. Sometimes I actually just take them even out with the entire basket and just water it outside because this one doesn't have the container at the bottom. But if it did, like the white one I showed you earlier, this one does have the little tray at the bottom here. So if you keep these inside, you don't have to take it outside for watering it. You can just water it as it is on the pot. So these I do have to take out. And then this one, I actually used this really pretty bagua basket that I've had for a long time, but the handle broke because I carried way too many things in it. And so this is what I did with it. I just reused the basket, which, you know, holds very well getting wet. It holds well being outside in the sun because sometimes I do bring all these plants outside when I have a sense of them just needing some light, some sunlight, or when I'm just gonna water them if they don't have the pots I mentioned. Or sometimes, honestly, like I said, I go through phases where I want my home to be super minimalist and clutter-free and very spacious. And other times I want it to just be full of life. So it just depends on my mood. As of right now, I'm in the jungle mood. So that's that. The other thing I'm going to show you. So now I'm gonna turn. Oh wait, hold on. So much for professional videos here. The top plant up there. I love that little plant. It's super cute. And what I do with it, I'm gonna show you in a minute. This one I do take outside to water just for obvious reasons, being up there in the cabinetry, but it has the plastic pot that it comes in, and I use a basket that I really, really love for it. And I'm gonna show you what that basket looks like in a minute. So I'm gonna turn and show you guys this other wall over here. Let's see how well I can reach. Okay, so this other wall that has a lot of plants, I also love. This one's gonna be easier to fill. Okay, so that basket I mentioned up there for the little guy looks like this. Actually, let me show you something. The basket that I have up there actually looks like this. And so what I did, because the pot is tall and a little bit wider than the mouth of this basket, is I actually folded it in. These baskets fold in like this. So it's super cool because if you have a wider pot, you can just stick it in here and just have a nicer looking container. I love thinking of creative ways to place the pots they come in or repot them in new things that match your decor. So thinking about wicker baskets, like I said, or singing bowls, vases, mugs, wine bottles make a great little, hack to plant the little ones, thin ones. What else? I've used all kinds of stuff. Oh, pitchers, like water pitchers, or like the silver one I showed you that I used to water the plants. You can also plant in there. I've done that before. The only trick with those is that you want to, when the containers don't have holes at the bottom, this is something I learned recently, then I just use the traditional pots they come in, the plastic ones with the holes, and stick them inside. That way I can get them out, water them, let them drain, and then put them back into their containers. Otherwise, they're just not gonna stay for a long time. They're gonna die a lot sooner. And that's the case with this first guy I showed you. This is the one I have on my coffee table right now. I love this vase because it's white. It gives me that neutral sort of color that I love. You'll always see me or hear me say that if you are not sure if something goes with your home, you just get it all in white or paint it all white, because white just neutralizes any color and goes with every decor. So you can accessorize any space or style any shelf or coffee table with white, and just think of it in different textures or patterns or sizes or shapes, but if you go with all white, it looks amazing. So that being said, this guy actually comes in this basket. So this is what I take out to water it. It looks great on its, on its own like this. I've certainly used it before like this, but because I want to use this vase that makes more of a statement, it has just more mass to it, then I just stick it in here. It just happens to be the perfect size. So yeah, this is this one. Let me take some time to look at these and see what else. Yes, mason jars. Russell says mason jars. Yes, mason jars are amazing. I love them. To maintain them, do you keep them on the same watering schedule, and do you bring them outside on water day? Okay. My watering schedule. What that looks like these days is I'm just connecting with the plant. Like I'm just seeing how is the soil. We were explaining this earlier, and this is so much of what I've learned. Is the soil super, super dry, or is it moist? Ideally, you want it to stay as moist as possible for as long as possible without overwatering. So that's probably the most vague answer. Babe, if you have a better answer for that, type it up. But when generally I just check the soil, like are they dry or are they wet? And that's kind of how I go by it. I kind of have a rhythm now where I know that at least a couple of days a week, I bring them all outside and water them all at the same time, except the cactuses or the orchid or a couple of the ones that I know do not need that much water and do better when they're a little bit more neglected. So I hope that helps. Oh, yeah, Russell says water them when they're dry, yes, and it's always going to change based on the time of the year, lighting conditions, heat, AC, etc. See? Thank you, baby. That's, yeah. Okay. So that's that. Super important. The other thing is, here I just wanted to show you the same. I used this basket for this fern, which I love. This is like one of my favorite ones. And I don't know if you guys can see the base where I have it. Let me bring it down a bit. So I have it on this garden stool right here, and it's a silver garden stool. The basket is a little bit too wide for it. Like in an ideal world, this would be a little slimmer. Now I'm just getting picky. But I still love it. I make it work all the time, and I switch it around. Sometimes I put it on the other wall with the pink cabinet, and I just move them around. I also feel like they get bored being in just one space. I don't know, that's weird, but I do. So this guy I love, and she is also in a basket like the ones I was showing you before, where they collapse like this, which are amazing. I love these. I got these on Amazon. They're super, super cheap. And then you can just open them up like this and then just use them for whatever you want. So yeah, that's that. What else can I show you guys? Let me see. Let me bring this up again. Oh, are you saying some more stuff? When the soil pulls away from the edge of the pot, oh yes, then they are way too dry and need to be completely soaked. Yes, so let me see if I can find one. This one I just watered earlier. So if you see that the soil is separating from the edges here, then it means it's too dry. It needs to be watered. Ideally, you don't want it to get to that point too often, I think, in my experience. But yeah, you just soak them. So this one, I actually watered earlier today, and I just water it, let it soak, and then let it drain, and then I put it in this easy little container. So I love repotting, and maybe that's a topic on itself. But I also love being efficient and quick, so if I don't have to repot it, I like to be creative with just finding little containers that that fit. And then this one, I also happen to have a faux plant, and then this real one, which is was actually born, am I confused? No, it was actually born from this one I have here. Can you guys see that? I might have to bring it, let me see. Bringing it closer. So this one I love, and it's actually a little dry right now. Here I have a faux one, and of course, if you can see, there's a gnome, because gnomes and fairies are very important in our home. And then there's also a little bird that lives here. Oh, which also, this is another thing, I love letting my kids decorate the plants with like their fairy stuff. We have all kinds of little gadgets that that they have used in the past for these. So one of them, I'm going to show you. Like this one I have behind the sofa has these cute little fairies in it, and a fairy slide. Look, it's a leaf, and the fairies all slide down. So it's another way to make your home also child friendly. It's another way to have, you know, a little bit of magic in times where the world is so crazy and these kids need a little refuge to just, I don't know, connect with something bigger than the news. Okay, so what I wanted to show you here is how cool this plant grew. So you can see that it starts here on this spot, and then I just have been letting it go around the mirror, and it's actually quite long now. I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing with it yet. It's going all the way down. I don't know if I'm gonna loop it all the way up through the mirror again or what, but that's pretty much where I'm at with it, guys. So let me know if you have any questions. I hope that my ramble of all these containers and baskets made sense to you. I wanted to just share that because it's fun. It's so much fun, and it's such an easy way to, again, add life to your house and add color. The orchids I love. Someone asked me about flowers, but I don't really yet know how to have flowers inside other than store-bought flowers, which part of why I started working with these plants and bringing them inside my home more was because I didn't want to buy as many fresh flowers as I used to. I've always been known for having flowers in my home, but the flower industry is kind of tricky. There's a lot of pesticides that go with that. There's a lot of just lack of transparency in terms of them being fair trade or not. And so when I can, I avoid them. I still love flowers so much, so occasionally I'll treat myself to them. But in general, I just really prefer potted plants because they're just a cleaner way to bring nature to our home. I feel like I was missing, yes, I was missing this here. Last but not least is the watering cans. You can also make them part of your decor. This one I actually found at Target not too long ago, and I love being able to just have it handy and available near my plants. I can put it on my coffee table and it looks super cute. I can put it on my side table, on the console up there, or wherever, and it looks really good. I don't have to feel like it's an eyesore of any kind. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to pull some cards, some flower cards for anyone who wants a message. So I'm gonna go through here real quick and just see if any of you wave or send me a little emoji or something if you want me to pull a message. As I was sharing earlier, today is the new moon. So as soon as I end this message or this video, I'm personally going to be able to connect with that new moon planting of intentions. And that's something I love doing. Today we planted those seeds, literally. We planted cilantro and basil and morning glories. And it's just a good, fun thing to do to get connected with what you want. I'll share a little bit about that. Okay, Stace and Natalie, I got you. I'll be doing this for you guys. Okay, and for you too, Dallas. And Steph, welcome, awesome. So, in terms of the healing of these plants, right? I love being able to combine that energy of what we shared today with the new moon. And doing a new moon ritual is something that I've been doing for a long time. I also love doing full moon rituals because they just are so, they just connect me to this primal sort of ancient state of being. And I really love to be able to almost keep track of my goals and keep track of these visions for my life and all areas of my life that I might create and keep myself accountable for it. So one of the things that I always like to say when I do new moon circles or new moon intention planting is think of it in terms of short-term goals. A lot of times we get really carried away with creating intentions that are really big and grand, like, I don't know, you're gonna meet Prince Charming, or you're gonna be rich, or I don't really know. There's so many big sort of big picture goals that we often think of when we create intentions. But for these new moon planting rituals, what I like to do is think of them as a 1 month basis. So that way, as the new moon comes, I have a goal that I might set, a vision that I want to create. And then when the full moon comes at the very end of the cycle, I can be able to just check in. Did I do what I wanted? Did it happen? Did I manifest it? what are steps that I can take towards that goal I planted during the new moon? So, it's like a less logical way of doing goal setting. It's a little bit less coming into a space of scarcity or go-getter mentality, but it's more of aligning with the energies of the sun and the moon, because when the moon is in the new moon stage, is essentially the sun and the moon coming together as one equal space. And so I love that because it's complete neutrality. So I'll get really carried away talking about that. For now, I'm going to move this so that I can sit down and pull these messages. Let me see, can you guys see me? Yes. Okay, so first thing is I'm just going to take a deep breath. Just part of setting those intentions. Also, if you're going to be doing that later, which I highly recommend, is to just find some quiet time and quiet space to just be in silence. Take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. And I often like to start my new moon ritual with these cards, any oracle cards. This isn't about religion, you guys. Anyone with any background, any denomination or whatnot can just receive these inspiring messages. They're not divination or anything like that. They're really just inspirational messages. So I like starting my new moon circle or ritual with a couple deep cleansing breaths, pulling out a card, and then once I receive the card, taking the time to just write down what that intention is. And maybe I'll do two. Maybe I'll create a short-term intention and then a long-term intention. That's also an awesome way to do it. Okay, so let's see. Who wanted one first? Adriana. Okay, Adri, here we go. So you're gonna think, and more than think, feel right now about a question you might have. So just go ahead and close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose or your mouth. And think of that question you have. You don't have to type it or say it to anyone. Just think of it. And I'm going to pull a card for you and see what that message is. I was reading about this oracle, you guys, the flower therapy oracle, which there's actually also a book on it. And what I was reading was that some of the research that these people were doing with plants was pointed to the direction of, even if you didn't have the actual flower or the actual plant in front of you, just having the image of it gave the person like the same benefits, right? Gave the person like the same vibrational aspects of the flower. So this is your card, Adri. And what it says is, let your inner beauty shine. The card is actually a pink rose, which is so pretty. And it says, you are a brilliant example of God's love. Everything about you is perfect. So let your light shine and inspire others. And then the deeper message on that, let me see. Let your inner beauty shine. This is so you. It's time to release any feelings that tell you you're not good enough. You're truly beautiful, yet you sometimes struggle to allow this inner magnificence to show. This card asks you to become comfortable with all aspects of yourself. The angels wish you to know that you're indeed perfectly created. It's easy to believe the media's idea of what is attractive. However, true beauty is not based on outside appearances. What you possess is an inner radiance, a fascinating and loving aura that's desperate to be set free. When you reveal it, your confidence will increase and you'll receive compliments and attract like-minded new friends. Aw, this is really beautiful. Additional meanings. Wait. Love who you are. Know that you're this way for a reason. Be honest with yourself about your own feelings. Beautiful. Okay. Let me see. Who's next? Stacy. Okay, here we go. Stacy, so my love, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take a deep breath. Stacy and I have had so much fun with these cards in the past. Oh my God. It's been a long time since we've done that. This is like, if you have any of these at home and you've forgotten about them, this is your time to get them all out. I have so many of them. They're so much fun. Okay, Stace. So think of your question. Feel your question in your body, in your heart. And let's see what you get. Ooh, this one is important. This also, these messages, when they're shared in a group like this, I have found often apply to all of us. So while you might have a specific question you're asking, they really do apply to everyone. So this one in particular is very powerful, I think, for all of us. And it says, uplift your thoughts. And the flower is an orange lily. Okay, speaking of accepting yourself as you are, this light is like not very good, but anyways. Orange lily. Focus your attention on the many blessings that surround you. By doing so, you'll let go of depression, poor self-esteem, and excess weight. So let's see what else it says. Uplifting our thoughts. So important right now. Whew. Your thoughts have the power to create your reality. Therefore, you want to choose only positive and high vibration thoughts. Sometimes this is easier said than done. You can ask for help from the orange lilies to shape a brighter future. One way to do so is by gathering some of these blossoms and sitting with them quietly. Focus your intentions on the joy you wish to attract. Then set the lilies in a vase of water in your home or workspace. As they bloom, your visualization will manifest. Let go of thoughts surrounding your perceived imperfections. Instead, choose to view these as the special qualities that make you an individual. There are no mistakes in the eyes of God. You're created this way for a reason, and it's best that you choose to accept who you are. Live your life as your true self. Then you'll shine joy upon others, acting as a source of angelic inspiration. Wow. That's really awesome. I do love mentioning that whether you plant seeds of flowers or any plant like we talked about before for the new moon, or if you simply already have a flower arrangement or a potted flower or plant and you want to bring it with you as you write down your intentions, that's also a really powerful way to sort of infuse that plant with the energy of that vibration of that intention you were creating. And then as you keep living your day-to-day, just seeing it starts creating memory of thinking those thoughts to make that intention come to a reality. So that's another aspect that I often use when I decorate sacred spaces and design sacred spaces. It's part of why if you ever see in like Indian temples, they do what they call pujas, and they basically come to the altar with flowers and with petals, and sometimes they also use other things like rice and herbs and spices, but with flowers specifically, what happens is the physical act of bringing the flowers to the prayer creates memory in the brain of that prayer. And so with practice, the more you do it, the more it starts being recorded as part of your new reality. So bringing flowers into your space to create new intentions and just visualizing what you want and then seeing these flowers or seeds grow, blossom, be nurtured by you is a way of nurturing that intention which you have set. Okay. Hope that makes any sense, you guys. I think I had one more request. Yes, Dallas Nelson. Okay, let me pull a card for you too. So, same thing for you. Take a deep breath, or a couple, and feel what the question you would like for these cards is. Okay, last card of the night, and then I'm gonna go watch some more TV after I do my intention setting. I've been watching so much TV, it's kind of it's kind of unlike me in many ways, but it's been fun. Okay, sorry, Dallas. I'm gonna go ahead and pull your card. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, this is pretty. Financial healing. And the flower is a yellow lily. Oh, just like the other one. Oh, Stacy got the orange lily, and you, the yellow lily. Cool. Okay, so yellow lily says, your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in every way. Whoa, that sounds really good. Let's see, financial healing. You may have endured some difficult times recently and feel that an increase in prosperity would make it all better. Well, your prayers have been answered. Take this card as a sign that heaven has heard your prayers about your financial concerns and is bringing you abundance. Your finances are on the mend and becoming more balanced right now. You deserve to have all that you need to live a happy, fulfilled, and comfortable life. Knowing that your bills will always be paid and your finances are secure could help you attain this. Everyone is born with the same rights and opportunities as every other person. When you recognize that you're just as deserving of financial abundance as anyone else, it begins to find its way to you. The angels and yellow lily want to help you. Allow their energies into your life and adjust your relationship with money. Additional meanings: create a budget for yourself and your family, spend your money wisely, get rid of debt or credit cards that are not necessary, and trust that all your needs are being provided for. And also, what a great message for the world who is financially stressed out right now in many ways. There's so many people worried about that. And so thank you guys for joining me. This has been fun. This is a good opportunity for us to share with each other in a different way and keep our energy levels high, our thoughts positive, our reality. It's important to surrender and to surround ourselves also to be able to just surround ourselves with higher vibration and things that uplift us, and decorating our home is a big part of that. I think that has been yet again another time in my life where thinking of what my home means to me, what it does for me, how I spend time in it, how mindful I am with the way that I decorate or that I treat my home, how mindful I am of that really makes a difference in creating a shelter and a sacred, nourishing space for me, for my girls, and for my family. So I hope that you guys get a chance to do the same. I hope that you get a chance to plant new intentions today and enjoy the new moon and share with us pictures if you do anything with plants or flowers. Sat Nam, take care.